What would you do if your husband brought his mistress to your anniversary party? Would you cry? Would you scream? Would you run? Zainab Adeyemi did none of those things. She watched her husband walk into the grand pavilion with a 26-year-old woman in a red dress. She watched him introduce her as a colleague. She watched him touch her back like he hadn't touched Zainab in years. And then she picked up a microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for coming to celebrate 25 years of marriage. The room applauded. Before we continue, I'd like to introduce someone. The woman in the red dress by the bar. My husband's mistress. Tiffany, stand up. The applause died. 200 people turned. And Victor Adeyemi watched his entire world collapse in front of everyone he'd ever tried to impress. This is the story of how Zainab got everything back and how Victor lost it all. But to understand that moment, the microphone, the silence, the shattering of a 25-year lie, you have to go back to where it all began. Back to when Zainab still believed in fairy tales. Back to when Victor Adeyemi was just a man with a dream and a smile that made her forget to ask questions. She was 23 years old, and she had no idea what was coming. 25 years earlier, Zainab Mensa was finishing her accounting degree at the University of Houston, on top of her class. Job offers already lining up, a future so bright she had to squint to see it. Then she met Victor Adeyemi. He was 27, tall, handsome, confident in a way that made her nervous. He drove a used Honda and worked as a sales rep for a pharmaceutical company. But when he talked, the room listened. I'm going to build an empire, he told her on their third date. I just need someone to build it with. He looked at her like she was the answer. She should have looked closer. What kind of empire? She asked. Medical supplies. There's a gap in the market. Hospitals overpaying for basic equipment. I can cut the cost in half and still make a fortune. Sounds expensive to start. It is. He leaned forward. That's why I need a partner. Not just money. Someone who believes in me. Someone who can handle the books while I handle the people. Zainab laughed. You barely know me. I know enough. Victor took her hand. I know you're the smartest woman in any room you walk into. I know you're loyal. I know you don't quit. He squeezed her fingers. And I know I want to spend the rest of my life proving I was worth your bet. She should have asked more questions. She should have seen the cracks beneath the charm. But she was 23, and no one had ever looked at her like that before. 3 months later, they were married. And 3 months after that, Zainab gave up her job offers to build his dream. The first 5 years were hard, harder than she ever expected. They lived in a one-bedroom apartment with a leaky faucet and a refrigerator that hummed too loud. Zainab worked the books 18 hours a day. Victor worked the clients. They ate rice and beans more nights than she could count. But they were building something. At least that's what she told herself. The company needs more capital, Victor said one night. We're so close. Zainab. One more push and we break through. We don't have more capital. Your father does. Zainab froze. Absolutely not. It's a loan. We pay it back in 2 years. 3, tops. My father worked his whole life for that money. I won't gamble with it. Victor's face changed, just for a second. A flash of something cold behind his eyes. So you don't believe in me? That's not what I said. That's exactly what you said. He stood up, walked to the window. I guess I was wrong about you. He didn't speak to her for 3 days. And on the 4th day, Zainab called her father. She asked for the loan. She promised it was safe. And she handed Victor $120,000, her father's entire retirement savings. Victor kissed her forehead. I'll never forget this, he said. You're the only one who believed in me. Those words would echo in her mind for the next 20 years. But not in the way he meant them. The business took off. And everything changed. By year 7, Victor had contracts with 3 major hospital networks. By year 10, he had expanded to 5 states. By year 15, Adeyemi Medical Supplies was worth over $50 million. And Zainab had given up everything to get him there. She had postponed having children until she was 32 because the business needed her. She had skipped her father's 60th birthday because Victor had a client dinner she had to attend. He forgot who had built the machine. He forgot who had built the machine. You need to smile more at the galas, he told her one night, straightening his tie in the mirror. Zainab looked up from her laptop. I smile. Not like you mean it. You stand in corners talking about spreadsheets. It makes me look bad. I built those spreadsheets. Those spreadsheets are why you have galas to attend. Victor turned around. His eyes were cold. Don't ever speak to me like that again. It was the first time his voice had made her afraid. It would not be the last. The cruelty crept in slowly, like poison in the water. So gradual she didn't taste it until she was already drowning. First, it was small things. He criticized her clothes, her hair, the way she laughed. You sound like a hyena when you laugh like that. Yo, it's embarrassing. She stopped laughing. Then it was bigger things. He made financial decisions without consulting her. Moved money to accounts she didn't have access to. Hired a new CFO, a young man from his business school, to take some of the pressure off her. You've earned a break, Victor said. Focus on the house, the kids. Let the professionals handle the numbers. I am a professional. I built those numbers. And now you can rest. It wasn't a suggestion. Zainab found herself squeezed out of her own company. The company she had sacrificed everything to build. The company that existed because she had given her father's life savings when no bank would give Victor a dime. But she stayed. She stayed because of Daniel and Chisholm. She stayed because divorce felt like failure. She stayed because 20 years of her life were wrapped up in this man, and leaving felt like admitting those years were wasted. So she smiled at the galas. She stood in corners, and she slowly forgot who she used to be, until the day she remembered. She found out about Tiffany on a Tuesday afternoon, the kind of ordinary day that changes everything. Victor had left his iPad on the kitchen counter. A message notification lit up the screen. Can't wait for tonight. Wear that blue shirt I like. Followed by a heart emoji. Zainab stared at the screen. Her hands trembled. She picked up the iPad, entered the password, their anniversary date. How ironic. And opened the messages. 6 months of conversations. 6 months of, I love you. 6 months of photos. 6 months of plans for a future that didn't include Zainab. And then she saw the name. Tiffany Okafor, 26 years old. The new marketing coordinator Victor had hired 8 months ago. Zainab had met her at the company Christmas party, had complimented her dress, had told Victor she seemed bright. Very bright, Victor had agreed. Now she knew what he meant. Zainab sat down on the kitchen floor, the cold tile pressed against her legs, the iPad clutched to her chest. 25 years. 25 years of her life. For this. She could have screamed, could have cried, could have driven to the office and made a scene. But Zainab was not a woman who made scenes. She was a woman who made plans. And in that moment, sitting on her kitchen floor, Zainab began to plan. She had 3 months. 3 months until the anniversary gala Victor had been planning for nearly a year. 200 guests. Live band, press coverage, the whole city watching. He wanted to celebrate 25 years of marriage. She would give him a celebration he'd never forget. First, she visited a lawyer, a woman named Grace Acheba, who specialized in high net worth divorces. What are my options? Zainab asked. Grace looked at her file. You've been married 25 years. You contributed to the business from day one. You have records? Every receipt, every spreadsheet, every email. Grace smiled. Mrs. Adeyemi, you're not walking away with half. You're walking away with most. Second, Zainab visited her accountant, a man she had known since college, someone Victor had never met. I need you to find where he's hidden the money, she said, and I need you to do it quietly. It took him 6 weeks. Victor had 3 accounts in the Cayman Islands. He was planning to leave you. He was planning to leave you, the accountant said. Maybe not tomorrow, but eventually. Zainab nodded. Then I'll leave first. Third, Zainab visited her children. Daniel was 24, working at his father's company, idolizing Victor in a way that made Zainab's heart ache. Chisholm was 21, pre-med at Rice University, closer to her mother, far more perceptive than her father knew. Zainab took them both to lunch, separately, and she told them the truth. Daniel didn't believe her at first. Dad wouldn't do that. You're imagining things. She showed him the messages. Daniel was silent for a long time. What are you going to do? He finally asked. What I should have done years ago. Protect myself. Chisholm's reaction was different. I knew something was wrong, she said. The way he talks to you. The way he looks at you like you're furniture. You noticed? Everyone notices, Mom. We just didn't know how to help. Chisholm grabbed her mother's hand. Whatever you're planning, I'm with you. Zainab squeezed back. Good, because I'm going to need you in the audience. The night of the anniversary arrived. The night everything would change. The grand pavilion was transformed. White and gold everywhere. A string quartet playing in the corner. Champagne towers catching the light. 200 guests filled the room. Business partners, politicians, old friends, the press. Everyone Victor wanted to impress. Zainab wore a silver gown. Simple, elegant, the kind of dress that whispered instead of shouted. She stood near the entrance, greeting guests, playing the role she had played for 25 years. And then Victor arrived. With Tiffany. The room didn't notice at first. Victor introduced her as a colleague. But Zainab saw the way his hand rested on her lower back. The way Tiffany looked at him. The way she wore a dress that cost more than a month's salary. A dress Victor had clearly paid for. Her best friend Amara appeared at her side. He brought her, Amara hissed. To your anniversary. I'm going to kill him. No. Zainab's voice was calm. You're going to sit down, you're going to smile, and you're going to watch. Watch what? Zainab looked toward the stage, the microphone, the spotlight, the best speech of my life. At 9 p.m., the MC called Victor to the stage. This was the moment he had planned. His moment. A speech about 25 years of marriage. A partnership of love. Victor walked to the microphone, grinning like he owned the world. Because he thought he did. Ladies and gentlemen, he began. Thank you for being here to celebrate this incredible milestone. 25 years of marriage. 25 years of building something special with my beautiful wife, Zainab. He gestured toward her. The room applauded. Zainab smiled. Gracious, perfect, waiting. Marriage isn't easy, Victor continued. It takes sacrifice, commitment, vision. And I've been blessed to have a partner who understood that vision from day one. More applause. Victor wiped a fake tear from his eye. I couldn't have done any of this without her. And that's when Zainab stood up. She smoothed her silver gown, picked up her champagne glass, and walked toward the stage. Victor's smile faltered. What are you doing? He whispered as she approached. I'm giving a speech, too. She smiled at the crowd. My turn. Before he could react, she took the microphone from his hand. The room fell silent. 200 people. Eyes locked on her. And Zainab began to speak. Thank you, Victor. Ma, what a beautiful speech about partnership. Her voice was steady, warm, not a trace of anger. 25 years. It really is incredible when you think about it. 25 years of early mornings and late nights. 25 years of sacrifice. She looked out at the crowd. Some of you know me as Victor's wife. The woman who stands beside him at galas. The woman who smiles in photos. But not many of you know who I was before. She paused. I was an accountant. Top of my class at the University of Houston. Had job offers lined up before I graduated. A future so bright I could barely see it. Victor shifted uncomfortably. And then I met this man. She gestured toward him. He had a dream. A big dream. And he needed someone to believe in him. So I did. I gave up my job offers. I gave up my career. I gave my father's entire retirement savings, $120,000, to fund his first shipment of supplies. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. I built the books. I built the systems. I built the infrastructure that turned his dream into a $50 million company. And somewhere along the way, her voice softened. I forgot to build anything for myself. Victor stepped forward. Zainab, that's enough. I'm not finished. The words were quiet, but they froze him in place. Zainab turned back to the crowd. For years, I told myself the sacrifice was worth it. That partnership meant putting his dreams first. R for divorce. Filed yesterday. Along with for divorce. Filed yesterday. Along with documentation of 3 offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands, 2 properties in Miami, purchased with company funds, and a life insurance policy naming his 26-year-old mistress as the secondary beneficiary. The room gasped. Victor's face went white. Zainab looked directly at Tiffany, who was frozen near the bar. "Hi, Tiffany. Nice dress. He has good taste. When he's spending money that isn't his." Tiffany's glass slipped from her hand. It shattered on the marble floor. Zainab turned back to the crowd. "I'm not here for revenge. I'm not here to humiliate him. He's done that himself by bringing his mistress to his own anniversary party." Nervous laughter rippled through the room. "I'm here to take back what's mine. My time. My dignity. My future." She looked at Victor. "You wanted a speech about partnership? Here it is. For 25 years, I was the partner who gave everything. And you were the partner who took it." Victor's voice cracked. "You're making a scene. You're embarrassing yourself." "No, Victor." Zainab's voice was soft but unbreakable. "I'm finally showing up, and I should have done it years ago." She set the divorce papers on the podium. "My lawyer will be in touch. Enjoy the rest of your party." She walked off the stage. The room was silent. Then someone started clapping, slowly at first, then faster. Chisholm was standing, tears streaming down her face, clapping like her life depended on it. Then Amara, then Pastor Michael, then half the room. Victor stood on stage, alone, surrounded by the applause of people celebrating his destruction. And Zainab walked out the front door without looking back. The aftermath was swift, and it was brutal. The divorce was finalized 4 months later. Zainab received 62% of the company assets, the house in River Oaks, both cars, and a settlement that ensured she would never need to work again. Victor tried to fight it, tried to claim she had exaggerated her contributions, tried to hide more money. But Zainab had the receipts, literally. 25 years of spreadsheets, 25 years of emails, 25 years of proof. The judge wasn't impressed with Victor. "Mr. Adeyemi," she said during the final hearing, "you built your business on your wife's back and your wife's money. The court finds her contributions to be not just significant, but foundational. This settlement is more than fair. It's generous." Victor's lawyer advised him not to appeal. He didn't. Tiffany left him 2 weeks after the gala. Turned out she wasn't interested in a man whose empire was crumbling. She was last seen on Instagram, dating a basketball player in Miami. Victor moved into a condo downtown, alone. The company survived, but his reputation didn't. Half his clients left within a year. The other half renegotiated their contracts at lower rates. "Nobody wants to work with a man who treats people like that," one of them told a reporter. "If he did that to his wife, what would he do to us?" And Zainab? Zainab thrived. 6 months after the divorce, she started her own consulting firm. Small at first. Just her and a laptop. But within a year, she had 12 clients and a waiting list. Turns out, the woman who had built a $50 million company from nothing could build another one. But this time, she built it for herself. She reconnected with her father before he passed. Sat with him on his porch in Lagos, holding his hand, telling him how sorry she was for taking his money all those years ago. "You didn't take it," he said. "I gave it, because I believed in you." He squeezed her hand. "And look at you now, my daughter. We standing on her own 2 feet. He died 3 months later, peacefully, in his sleep, with Zainab by his side. She cried for days, but they were different tears. Not tears of regret, tears of release. She had made it right. 1 year after the divorce, Zainab stood on the balcony of her new apartment. Not the River Oaks mansion. She had sold that. Too many memories. This apartment was smaller, simpler. A 2-bedroom with a view of the Houston skyline. It was hers. Her name on the lease. Her money in the bank. Her life in her own hands. She held a cup of coffee, watched the sun rise, felt the warmth on her face. Her phone buzzed. A text from Chisholm. Brunch today? Daniel's coming too. He wants to apologize for taking so long. Zainab smiled. Tell him there's nothing to apologize for. I'll see you both at noon. She set the phone down. For 25 years, she had lived someone else's dream, carried someone else's vision, built someone else's empire. Now, when he at 48 years old, she was finally building her own. And it was beautiful. Zainab waited 25 years. 25 years of sacrifice. 25 years of shrinking herself so someone else could expand. And when the moment came, when he thought he could humiliate her one final time, she didn't cry. She didn't scream. She simply told the truth. And the truth set her free. If you believe that the silent ones always find their voice, that the patient ones always find their moment, then subscribe. Hit that notification bell, because in these stories, the proud always fall. And the faithful, they always rise. See you in the next tale.